In the early hours of February 26, 2016, the residents of Pentyrch Wales were about to witness an event that would forever alter their lives and send shockwaves through the international UFO community. This is arguably one of the greatest UFO cover-ups of all time. According to eyewitness Caz Clarke, a 57-year-old resident of Pentyrch, the Royal Air Force was aware of the incident in advance. Military planes had been circling above the farming fields near town for several days, and access to the wooded area had been restricted since at least the morning of the 24th. At 2 a.m. on the morning of the 26th, what she witnessed was nothing short of extraordinary. In her own words, an immense pyramid-like structure floated in the sky, dwarfing everything in size. Promptly, she ventured into her backyard. Initially, she discerned a vivid, crimson light suspended high above the treetops, thousands of meters in the air. This pyramid-shaped object gradually descended, coming closer to the ground, and from its base emerged a luminous green beam of light. Caz Clarke describes what she saw and did as she witnessed the green lantern.
The only thing that I could think to do was wave, because with all the military activity that went on that night, I didn't want us to appear to be hostile. And I felt it scan me. That's the only way I can describe it, like something had reached in and took the fear away from me. It was almost euphoric. The object above me turned from tail light red to traffic light green, and I could see even clearer the insides moving. The red one had stayed red the whole time. The green object then moved, the green barrel, across the rooftops to my right hand side here, and the still red object had moved away to my left hand side, low across the fields, and I watched it until I couldn't see it anymore. And then we heard the helicopters coming. There were 3 Apache helicopters, and we'd run around the side here to get a better look across the valley.
The night of February 26, 2016 were just the beginning of this extraordinary story, with the morning that followed revealing further crucial elements of what may have occurred. When they found the impact site, they saw burn and scrape marks on the surrounding trees, but the burn marks were white, not black, and there was a very pungent smell in the air. The location of the damaged trees is less than half a mile from the Royal Glamorgan Hospital, where an ex-staff member of the hospital described hearing an extremely loud explosion and smelling unusual sulfurous odors on that night. The bang was so loud it shook patients awake in their beds. Looking at that path of broken trees, it's like something's crashed or an explosion all at the same level, as though something came down right through them and snapped them. It could potentially be wind damage, but normally when trees come down in the wind, they come down from the roots. It could be a lightning strike, but lightning usually doesn't strike so many trees. Over the weeks that followed, the 26th of February, tents started to pop up on farmland close to where the UFO had been seen, and a mysterious team of people began an apparent survey of the area. They told Caz at first that they were frackers, and then when that caused upset in the village, that they were working for Vodafone. Caz said they were using some kind of large laptop device, but it was twice the width of the laptop in a metal case. Caz took some covert pictures of their camp.
Well, this tweaked my curiosity because, why would they give different stories to people? I wanted to know who they were. So Stephen, my friend, has come over to the field to see what was going on. And as we approached the gate where we'd viewed all of this from, 2 soldiers were walking towards us, wearing digital camouflage, carrying guns that did not have yellow caps in the end. These guns had never been dragged around on exercise anywhere. They looked brand new, like they'd been stripped and oiled that morning. And I mean, brand new. They said to me in rather an Etonian middle-class English accent, "We're doing a military exercise down in the fields for an emergency situation. Should you see anything funny going on?" Okay. So I said, "Well, you need guns for that, do you?" Well, the answer was yes, we do. I said, "Well, why are you hiding them?" "And we don't want to upset the locals." Well, who am I then, Again, we asked the Ministry of Defence why they were carrying guns. Section 26, not in the public interest. It's very much in the public interest. My children play out there,
The activity was explained by the authorities as an armed forces exercise known as Chameleon. There is evidence that something happened that night with the military, but still there's no evidence of the presence of an actual UFO. It all relies on Caz Clarke's testimony. Caz has taken multiple lie detector tests. Although they are not foolproof, with accuracy estimated to be between 80 and 90%, she has passed every single one. Caz Clarke certainly believes she's telling the truth. There are also other witnesses to this event like Jacob Coleman.
There was like a green light, quite big. It wasn't flashing, it wasn't falling down the sky. It was stationary in the sky and it was simmering. It was like a power source. That's what it looked like. I've never ever seen anything like it in my entire life in the sky. Never, nothing. It wasn't a drone, like I said, nothing like that. To the right of it, so here, there was Apache, or attack helicopter, definitely attack helicopter. It was armed, it was big. And there was another one just by here. So it was like a Mexican standoff, 2 versus 1. And I can remember thinking to myself this is what we're driving past. So I'm like, I thought, if that moves at any speed, I'll know that it's not from this earth. And it felt like it was me and the 2 Apaches were waiting for it to do something. It was like I was waiting with the Apaches for this thing to move. That's what it looked like. I mean, it was ready. Something was ready to happen.
A standoff.
Yeah, a standoff. That's what it was, a standoff.
In addition, Caz makes no profit from the books and talks she gives about this event. The Wales UFO encounter is a most intriguing and frustrating case. It is characterized by exceptionally reliable witness accounts, unexplained tree damage, signs of an explosion, and a trail of documents hinting at a possible concealment. Yet, substantial visual evidence confirming the existence of the UFO, such as photographs or videos, remains conspicuously absent, despite the incident occurring in 2016. However, there is still some more strong evidence that something crashed there. A year and a half following the incident, Caz reached out to the Swansea UFO network, establishing a connection with researcher Gary Jones. Extensive field investigations conducted by the duo ultimately provided compelling evidence of electromagnetic field anomalies in 2 key locations: the purported crash site within Smilog Woods and the fields behind Caz's residence. But in another twist of the story, Swansea UFO Network told Caz by message and phone, and Gary verbally face-to-face, that you cannot use the Geiger counter readings because they were null and void, as we didn't have a base sample to calibrate the Geiger counter, and it wasn't on the correct settings. We'd had no training and were just trying it out. It is 1971 Polish Army issue and is considered by an expert, who we showed it to recently, as a museum piece and good for nothing. In addition, the field in question has a metal pipe running through it. Can that cause EMF? The trees in Smilog Woods that exhibited substantial damage, or were entirely destroyed, were swiftly cut down following the incident. When questioned about the reasoning behind this action, Natural Resources Wales, the governing body responsible for Smilog Woods, asserted that they had to carry out tree felling due to the presence of larch disease. Larch disease is a highly destructive and lethal pathogen that not only affects larch trees but can also transmit to other tree species. Although larch disease poses a severe threat to forests throughout Wales, there exists no concrete evidence indicating that the trees in question were infected. According to the guidelines established by Natural Resources Wales, the gravity of the disease necessitates obtaining a felling license prior to tree removal, and there is no documented evidence to suggest that such a license was issued. The Pentyrch case is interesting, and something happened that night. Was it a military exercise or UFO?